FBC fam, FBC students, I love you. It's good to see you again for midweek episode number 2. Again, we're walking through the book of James. Chapter 5, verses 1 through 6 is this week. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab a Bible, I want you to grab a notebook, and I want you to grab a pen. Even if you've got to press pause on this recording on YouTube, I'd love for you to be able to do that. We're going to jump right in, talk about James 5, 1 through 6. Would love for you to be able to do that and to actually grow during this process. Again, we're trying to figure this out. We're trying to figure out how do we grow when we're not able to be together. And it's a great opportunity for you to learn to do that well as a student and as a follower of Jesus. So here's what James chapter 5, verses 1 through 6 has to say. Verse 1, now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. So very encouraging first verse, right? James, this particular section is talking about these rich landowners that have brought hardship and trials upon these innocent, hardworking, poor people. And the fact is that God is telling the people, these rich landowners, these rich people that are hoarding up wealth, that as you oppress and as you mistreat these people, your wealth and your possessions are dangerous to you as a believer, and you will be severely judged by God. These are not words we want to hear about ourselves. But James is saying, look, all of these ways that you're cheating people, all of these ways that you're building up more and more and more wealth by cutting corners, by treating people poorly, by not paying them what they are owed, he's coming at them. He's saying, look, you're like murderers, you're adulterous enemies of God earlier in the book of James. And he's saying, look, instead of trying to hoard up all of these things, your possessions, your wealth, you've got to take care of your neighbor. You've got to serve these poor neighbors and love them well. And if not, misery is coming at you. Verse 2, your wealth has rotted and moths have eaten up your clothes. Now, most of you don't know much about moths. I don't know much about moths, but I do know the fact is that when you put things in the attic, when you put things away, moths somehow make it to boxes, make it to your attic, and make it to things and actually eat away at your possessions. And James is saying, look, all of these things that you think are great, these nice, expensive clothes, they look good to you on the outside, but to God on the inside, what actually matters underneath these clothes, you are filthy. Verse 3, your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded wealth in the last days. James is saying this word corroded. It speaks to the guilt of these rich people. And the corrosion and poison will destroy these individuals. Corrosion in this case is something that makes something like gold and silver useless, but also poisons. And so not just the fact that it's useless and it can destroy you, but it can destroy anybody in its grasp. And the problem isn't wealth or money in general. All of you are going to make money. All of you are going to have jobs at some point, hopefully. And one of the things that we've got to recognize is that when we are given the wages that we deserve, we have to treat those around us, treat those that are under us well. And we've got to do things in an honorable way that really speaks to the character of God and speaks to who we are as followers of Jesus. And sometimes we've got to take care of those who are less fortunate. That's what the church is called to do. Now, that's not always in the Constitution. That's not always going to be told to you by your friends. Maybe not. It's not always something that your family may stress to you. But we always have to take care of those around us that need help. Verse 4, here's what it says. It says, look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. And so these wages have been stolen by these rich landowners. And we know from the 10 Commandments that thou shalt not steal. You should not steal. Never be in a place in your life where you're stealing from other people. I promise you that will never end well for you. Doesn't end well for anyone else. It will not end well for you. my friends. And so one of the things that James says is he's saying, look, like God opposes the proud. And when the cries of the oppressed reach the Lord will literally come like an army and get ready for battle to bring opposition to those who are proud, these proud oppressors, these people that are treating these honest workers poorly. The Lord hears the cries, and he will come at those who do not take care of and who are failing to pay the wages to these people that they are owed. The Lord hears the cries of those in need. Verse 5, you have lived on earth in luxury and self-indulgence. You have fattened yourselves in the day of slaughter. And here's the deal. This should sting each and every one of us. Sometimes we really care in our guts and in our hearts about making sure our life is as comfortable as it can be, right? And that's a problem, especially during a pandemic that we're in right now, because all of a sudden now we can't find toilet paper. You know, there's a run on meat, or there's a run on certain things that are difficult to find, and our natural reaction is just to store it up. It's to grab all the butter we can grab and to grab all of the toilet paper to make sure that we're never at a point where we can't wipe ourselves, to make sure we're never at a point we can't bake that third pie that we could possibly want 17 days from now, right? And so as followers of Jesus, we've got to make sure that we're not just trying to provide this comfortable lifestyle for ourselves. We got to make sure that when those around us need things that we can help and be a part of, we don't want to be handed out judgment. James is almost saying like, look, the Lord is saying judgment is coming. God is saying judgment is coming upon those that stand against me. And these rich oppressors are almost like, hey, pick me. And James is saying this should not be. Final verse, you have condemned and murdered the innocent one who was not opposing you. You know, to not give people what they deserve is to say that they are less worthy than us. And this is not what the Lord would teach us. This is not what the Lord would have for us. And so the innocent one who is not opposing you, James closes with a reference to treating people poorly, to not giving people what they rightfully deserve. So I hope the reading of God's Word today, I hope your reading, you hearing some of the details and specifics of these verses would help you grow, and that you would understand the calling upon you at this time is to continue to feed yourself, continue to be faithful, continue to follow after the Lord day after day and week after week. Love you, FBC fam, and I'll see you soon.
Go for it. Go for gold. YOLO, right? YOLO.
Oh, it's gonna hurt. Don't be scared.